Welcome back, guys. We're here at the LCK Arena at Lol Park, and we're in the midst of DAMWON versus the Jin Air GreenWings. Now, that first game started off really good for Jin Air. They got a lead. They had a better scaling comp, and we thought they were actually going to win their second game here at the LCK, but things began to crash and burn as DAMWON were able to take advantage of the pitiful Baron attempt and then took Elder and won the game.
Yeah, and we have a sub coming in now for DAMWON Gaming, Nuclear in the bottom lane. And like you were just mentioning, Jin Air, when you try to envision what more they could try to get or accomplish in a game here against DAMWON, they had all the pieces together. They had better scaling, they had a gold advantage, they had clear-cut opportunities to secure the two major objectives they needed to end the game, and it just completely just went by the wayside. They didn't actually end up getting anything.
We're actually getting the replay of ShowMaker slapping Ares at the player area, and I mean, Ares had that one fight where he kind of got caught up in the mix as Ezreal. Maybe he was a little bit too close to the sun, and maybe Nuclear wasn't, or ShowMaker wasn't too happy about that. But I wouldn't say that it was his fault that the ball really got rolling for Jin Air in that game or anything like that. Gave him a chance, gave him some stage experience. I thought he did fine. Had a lot of damage on the Ezreal, but unfortunately, big brother Nuclear coming on in, gonna take his spot back.
And I think we're jumping right into pick ban.
Yeah, that we are.
Seems like it is about to start and get underway. All right, so here we go for game number 2. DAMWON Gaming versus Jin Air GreenWings. Galio banned right out the gate.
Something tell me DAMWON aren't going to play Sylas this time. I kind of hope.
Yeah, one would hope that that would not be the case. But Lucian banned away by Jin Air GreenWings. Let's see if they keep it true. Tried, true, and tested. Cassiopeia, Lucian, and Ezreal for the red side. DAMWON banning away the Lissandra.
Yeah, they took away the Lissandra the first time around on the red side, and we were kind of questioning that. But this time around on blue, you definitely have a lot more freedom to go for some of those reach bans. And Jin Air not going to pass up on the opportunity to take away Nuguri's Vlad anytime soon.
And there it goes, and Ezreal still on the table, and DAMWON, they have first opportunity at it. Now, they cannot ban Cassio or Ezreal and guarantee that they get one or the other, so you could take the opportunity here to ban Urgot, knowing that you would get one of the two. And in doing so, Jin Air now would be in a pretty awkward situation. Now, one might say, well, okay, then they can just ban neither Ezreal or Cass and then make a trade.
I mean, they just gave Nuclear Ezreal.
Yeah.
I'm, not a big fan of that choice. I'd say I would rather take Jace anytime over giving Nuclear Ezreal once again. Has a big smile on his face. Jin Air looking to potentially deny the Ezreal Tahm Kench lane at least. That means a very early Tahm Kench when there are still a lot of good picks left on the board.
Yeah, and Urgot still available. Cassiopeia also still available. Will Jin Air choose either one? Because if you don't take either one, you hand
Sylas.
it over. Yeah, of course, obviously. And then you hand it over to DAMWON Gaming, and they respond, Urgot, Cassiopeia, do you remake? Do you bug splat your client and say...
Well, you have a couple of choices, right?
Okay. Let's see it. Come on. Urgot, Cassiopeia, one time.
One time for the boys.
You got one job. Nope, that's not the champion. Nope.
ShowMaker likes this one though. He earned MVP on this one multiple times as well. So maybe just picking comfort and a mid laner that is definitely up there in terms of tier list right now wouldn't be so bad. Also has a high win rate there at 69.
Urgot one time. 10 seconds. No?
No,
All right,
man.
not today.
Sylas.
Oh, good. Olaf, cool.
An LS favorite of many years, as we all know.
Amazing.
Olaf coming in. And that does mean that Jin Air could just scoop up the Urgot if they do want to. Olaf himself actually has a surprisingly high win rate. Wouldn't expect that. You see it a bunch from Bono, who has been winning a bunch, so I suppose that's part of the reason.
No, Grace.
Okay.
Yeah, he's hovering the Ryze, and I mean, he picked this in game number 1. He didn't do anything on it. I mean, we saw his damage number at the very end. Also, questionable Ryze ultimate into the Baron at the very end there.
Yeah.
Not making use of his ultimate up in top when they had the Baron to make a Giga Wave in mid. And not really quite sure what the Ryze is going to accomplish here now in game number 2.
Maybe he just only feels comfortable playing Aftershock Ryze into the LeBlanc. Could just be like a champion pool thing. Maybe it's not ideal for Grace, but amongst the many problems that Jin Air have been having, his picking Ryze, if he's comfortable on it, you know, I guess so. And maybe it's not the absolute best choice on paper, objectively, but either way, is going to pick that one up as Soraka and Ashe going to be taken off the table.
I look at Ashe and I ask why be afraid of that when you have the CC invulnerability inside of the Olaf, the LeBlanc that can just press W and dodge, Ezreal, Arcane Shift. I'm not quite following the logic here, especially when your support still has yet to be picked and there's many supports that can answer Ashe. Now Victor being taken away though, I do agree with that, Ben. I think that that's quite nice. You don't want to have a repeat of a very similar team comp for Jin Air, where you just end up getting stalled to death.
Well, Jin Air is going to take it a step further and pick up Sivir. They don't care about your Ashe bans, your Victor bans. They're still going to want to take this late with that Sivir pickup. As Ashe, Tahm Kench has been run to success by Life, but you are right, their composition could play very well into it. Maybe even just bait Jin Air into picking something like that, but instead, they are going to have to go up against the Sivir. As DWG with their last couple of picks. Alistar going to be one of them.
Yep. Alistar locked in now. And I mean, this DWG Gaming team composition is so aggressive. And they're going to need another frontliner. And I mean, Urgot has made it this far along. What?
Was that champion deleted for you after the last couple of patches, LS? Well, it's not deleted for your man Nuguri in the top lane, as he's going to be hopping onto that one. We were expecting a lot more jungle Aatrox, but I doubt we'll be seeing top Olaf anytime soon. You okay over there?
No, I'm not. I'm really not.
Hey, they finally got to Urgot at least. That's something.
They finally found Urgot as the last pick. I'm so sorry. The order in which the draft was constructed is just so bizarre and peculiar. So for those of you that don't know, Aatrox is completely gutted. This guy he can't do anything in the later stages. I mean, he still does deal the same amount of damage. The problem is that even at 45% CDR, the way that his new E is, he still can't combo the same way that he used to before. And so now, unless you hit the point blank Q and chain it with the W, you can't get the same combo sequence for a second and third Q. And in the later stages, he doesn't have any sustain, even if he does end up getting Death's Dance, because he can no longer heal off of minions, he can only heal off of champions. So what was already a bad matchup in top lane against the Urgot is now even worse, and it's very easy for Urgot to just plow that lane over.
Yeah. So you're saying that DAMWON have some issues with the pick ban phase, as I mean, their play has been pretty decent across the board for a while, but still not finding that ultimate success here in the LCK. They still sit on the east side of the standings, if you have it there, sitting at 6th place currently. We got our AR working again,
yeah, we finally have our AR. They finally managed to piece it together. I think that's why the game went as long as it did. On the flip side, for Jin Air GreenWings, Urgot, Lee Sin, Ryze, Sivir, and Thomas Kench. So this team comp, it wants to fight, obviously, in the later stages, but it's no stranger to 2 items. They have the Tahm Kench to answer split pushes later on in the game. They have Ryze and Tahm, which opens up 1-3-1 possibilities. even though they are on the red team, normally red team has a much more difficult time doing a 1-3-1 split push due to the blue team's proximity to the endgame neutral objective, which is Baron. So typically 1-3-1s are a little bit more difficult to pull off.
Yeah, the fans still here. As you were in the midst of a pretty long-winded point there.
Yeah.
I hope you got to the end of that one.
Just waiting for the light cue, and, you know, we didn't quite get that. But nonetheless, I love this. That's my favorite taunt in the game.
I mean, yes, obviously. The cowbell is the best one.
That's the best champion in the game. He's strutting his stuff in River right now.
Thomas.
Pick yourself up a Coin Emperor Tahm Kench skin. You haven't already.
Hashtag sellout.
There you look at him. How majestic. You ever seen a catfish walk out of water?
I have now.
Yeah, you have. He's going back in to his humble abode.
Yeah.
All right, well. Do you think that's seaweed, actually? We call it a river brush, but what if it's just seaweed?
Oh. But it's the same brush in the lanes. So.
Could be
above land seaweed. I mean, you never know. Maybe it's very humid on Summoner's Rift.
We have no idea about Runeterra.
We have a lot of champions that aren't fully clothed, so I suppose it's not very cold when you think about it that way.
It isn't the Howling Abyss, that's for sure.
That's true, yeah.
It is somewhere else.
It's much colder there.
Yeah, get your casting together, bro. Come on. Let's talk about the important things here. All right, now talking about awesome skins, I do think that is the Prestige Aatrox. So.
You think so, or you know so?
You know, I don't think I've ever seen it in game because the champion doesn't get picked anymore. So.
That's true.
And I believe that it's like $100, right? Something.
All those skins are quite expensive.
They're quite
I don't know
expensive,
exactly
right?
how much.
I don't know exactly how much the Aatrox skin is, but.
Oh my God! You said Aatrox.
What?
I think that's my first time. As a momentous occasion. Wow.
Here all night.
I feel somewhat honored. It's like a new feeling for me.
Well, so far in this game, don't expect too much to happen. However, Malrang is off to a much better start, at least this time around, than in the previous game, although his route is still so peculiar. When you think about it in your Lee Sin, you do the red into the Wraiths, and then you capture the right side Scuttle Crab, but Olaf doesn't have an obligation to gank early on, because it's really difficult to set up any sort of lane pressure outside of maybe mid lane, but then the Scuttle Crab's not really doing anything. You're going to transition into a blue side clear and then wrap up into your golems, but you're delaying the rubber band respawn on them. Doesn't really make all that much sense. And so Olaf, I mean, Punch, yet again in this game, gets ahead with another small micro advantage, doing the same thing.
Yeah. Feels pretty good for him. Punch, obviously, stellar Lee Sin game, comes out here with Olaf twice in a row. As you mentioned, the early game, he did his job. He got really fed. Wasn't really able to get too many effective ganks, but was present in the early and mid game, unfortunately, as the game moved along. He couldn't really do much to accelerate the game and get us on our way. Trying to get that spell shield, and will they go for the engage? They want Tahm Kench here, as in comes Punch, but heal already blown on Nova, means that no gank will happen.
This isn't the end of the world for him. The Scuttle Crab still has some ways to go before it spawns on the left-hand side of the map, and that's where he's pathing because his rubber band Agatha.
Oh, hey, here we go. Punch is back. There's the stun. First blood. Goes over to the side of DWG Gaming. Nice setup play there by Hoit.
Yeah, and this is magnificent pressure relief. They're even going to have Punch try to help out with the wave clear. And in the meanwhile, this means that Malrang gets to go over and steal the left side Gromp and also leave a small wolf. So Malrang has the opportunity to create Bambi. And just look at this. I mean, Hoit, he was looking for some action, and Nova holding his flash until next year. And so DWG Gaming, they're able to pick up that kill. Now we're playing Ring Around the Rosie.
It's not even like we're at the end of 2019 or anything. We just started.
Yep.
It's a long way away, that one, as Nuguri gets away from the gank. Very nicely done up in the top side as Malrang was trying to strike back on a different lane, but didn't quite happen.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what his pathing just was, because all of the left side camps and the Scuttle Crab are up, and he's managing to lose his rates.
Nova's
so.
angry. Tom's angry. Here he is.
He's
as
quite frustrated.
Well, could get okay.
No, he can't combo there. ShowMaker can't follow up, so
yeah,
it'd be a little unfortunate. Look at how he waddles.
He's got some pretty thick legs. I never really noticed that.
He is quite thick.
It's good to note, for sure.
And despite being an awful matchup, you got to give credit to Nuguri. He's actually up in the lane quite a considerable amount at only 6 minutes here. Picks up the Warhammer for himself, and you know, coming off these buys, they're definitely advantageous to Nuguri on that Aatrox up in top lane. As Punch now going to proceed to path into the right-hand side, and Infernal Drake is alive and well. And if Malrang fails to do anything in the next minute or so while Olaf's in the right-hand side jungle, depending on what bottom lane priority looks like in mid lane, if he transitions to capture his red, it could open up a potential timing to capture the Infernal for DAMWON Gaming.
We're going to be looking for that one here as Grace just doing a good job pushing in that mid wave as far as possible.
Oh.
Punch level 6 here.
Okay.
Oh, already a ton of damage onto Malrang as he flashes away, but this Olaf isn't done just yet. He's trying to go in there. Has to get back and help out ShowMaker as the damage is there with the Mimic Chains. Another axe is going to land, but a very nice trade goes the way of DAMWON overall.
And I think actually given this, you could have the Alistar and the Olaf do the Infernal Drake relatively easily, but it looks like actually Olaf is just going to solo it. He is extremely healthy.
Yeah.
And so even though he'll get a little bit low doing this, you know that you don't have to be afraid because Grace is locked up in mid lane. You know that you just sent Malrang to the left-hand side of the map. Everyone knows that Malrang's on the left-hand side of the map. You're not going to get a gank in top lane. So at this point after this, Olaf, he just wants to recall. He probably can squeeze in a golem capture, and the reason that I say this is because Ryze needs to recall, and so even if you recall immediately into handing off the blue, LeBlanc wants to recall. We're having a trade down in bottom lane, but nothing really nothing too exciting though.
It was a nice knock-up, got both of them. Was flashy, and you're exactly right. He goes down to his Krugs, down on the bottom side of the map, and Punch able to get them up.
Yeah, and the reason that you can do this is because if you recall right away after the dragon and path to the blue, LeBlanc wants to recall into Lost Chapter, and because she doesn't have teleport, if you go for the blue handoff and stay inside of the lane, then you end up being at an item deficit after Grace comes off of his teleport. And so that's the reason that he wraps down into the golems, consumes them, LeBlanc comes back into mid lane to get mid priority, then secure the blue buff handoff, you're a left-hand side priority as Urgot's lane's coming into your top laner, and everything's good.
It was a bit of a rap god moment. I was enjoying that.
Well,
didn't really catch all of it, but sounded good.
What they say about some musicians nowadays, like, you don't really know the lyrics.
Unfortunately, my tiny play-by-play brain can't quite handle all that information, but I'll get back to you after watching the VOD. As Nuclear trying to deny this back up in the bottom lane.
And, I mean, we're going to enter into a lull state now until the Rift Herald ends up spawning, but with the way that mid lane state is going to be... Now, fortunately, though, Grace should get the blue buff handoff at roughly the same amount of time. Olaf's going to look for some pressure up in top lane. They do have the Aatrox ultimate. Lindarang, you can see, backing up just a little bit. I think the recall's fake. I can't imagine that it's genuine. Yeah.
Fake recall confirmed. What will be the news of the Aatrox? This will be interesting. I don't think it's the best test because Nuguri definitely one of our better top laners.
Urgot's going to die in a sec.
Yeah, okay.
All right, see you later.
Here we go. Lindarang in a lot of trouble. Not going to be able to flash away from that one as the Aatrox ult does come in. Can we have a Rune Prison here onto Nuguri? Is not quite able to get that damage as they're even threatening killing Grace here. They're going to get in there and punch able to take him out as Grace is going to fail the 1v3.
Yeah, and now Malrang is coming up to top lane to guarantee that they can't try to convert this into plate capture. And we'll take another quick replay of that, but the problem is that there's minions underneath the turret, so Aatrox, we talked about how one of the ways that his combo is hindered is that he has to hit a melee range Q without using his E, his Umbral Dash, to set up the combo sequence. So he's able to do that on Lindarang with his ultimate and thus neglect the turret. And just take a look at Nuguri here. Hits the Q, Comet lands, next Q lands, W as well, and with the priority that was created everywhere on the left-hand side of the map, Grace comes up to make yet another donation for the DAMWON gaming team.
How generous.
Amazing. I think I know what the G in Jin Air stands for now.
What's that?
Grace.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's
that?
good.
That wasn't good at all. I don't know where I was going with that.
Thank you. I thought it was gold, but now it's good.
That's even better.
Okay, well, stopwatch comes in. Sivir Ultimate says no to the gank in the bottom side. Nova just being a punching bag down here in the bottom lane so far. Definitely unfortunate for him. As okay, ShowMaker once again just always threatening on this LeBlanc. He plays a very scary, aggressive style on that champion. Rough to go against. And Malrang not having the most fun in this game either.
And Nuguri almost actually has his Black Cleaver, I think. His magical boots are also already here for him. And Lindarang not having the best of games. The call is still ways away from being completed. And this isn't what you want to have happening as Urgot in this matchup. And you just look across the board. In DAMWON, this is a very different show from game number 1.
It definitely is. They look a lot cleaner as it's just all in the side of DAMWON Gaming so far in this game. It was a nice gank to start things off on the bottom side and then 2 kills on the top side. Probably should just be 2-0, but friendly donation from our friend here on Jin Air helped out to make it 3-0.
Well, almost a 3K gold lead. Plates are still alive for a minute and a half. Very surprised not to see a Herald priority. Rather, they're going for a Cloud Drake.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I mean, the Cloud Drake is going to help out for Olaf and Aatrox, especially with that E nerf you were mentioning. But at the end of the day, getting the extra gold from the Rift Herald early, probably better every time. But we get to see how the different teams like to prioritize these objectives every time here in the LCK.
And now Malrang in bottom lane close proximity maybe wants to take an Abyssal Voyage behind Nuclear and Hoit, but it's a very difficult bottom lane combo to make a gank work on. The Arcane Shift plus the Flash in addition to Alistar's ultimate. So difficult to actually get a kill there, so not totally sure what they're trying to set up, and in doing so, Punch continues to just get advantages and priority on the sides of the map that actually matter.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is Ezreal, and it's LeBlanc, so Malrang not really having many lanes to gank. He tried for the top lane, and that was his one lane, essentially, early on, but it was a failed gank as Nuguri was able to get away without going down. Not even sure if he burned his flash on that one, as now Grace going to be chained down. Here's Hoit as well.
Whoa.
Has to flash that one, and even Abyssal Voyage is used to try to save his life. Not needed in the end, but lots of stuff burned there by Grace and team.
Well, now the Rift Herald is going to be picked up by Punch. And they can't use it to capture any of the plates. It's a little bit delayed. Mountain Dragon coming up in just under 3.5 minutes. But maybe looking like they wanted to use that Rift Herald in mid lane. Instead, I think that they're just going to bring it top. And yeah, okay.
Here we go again. The
Not long
dive
for this
begins.
world. Yep.
Lindarang in so much trouble. Does have a stopwatch, but okay,
Whoa.
nice flash away from that one. It's going to be
Oh.
pulled on in, but it is denied in the end. As they do juggle the turret aggro as well and pick up even yet another kill.
I actually couldn't have. I thought that the Aatrox passive was going to fade away right at the very end.
It was close.
There's a really specific timing in the Urgot Aatrox matchup when you land the ultimate and his passive's just about to fade during the pull, and you end up getting the kill and the execute. But so far, this game is getting blown wide open in top lane at least. Meanwhile, though, Jin Air, they do have a saving grace. I'm not talking about mid lane, but bottom lane did chip away at that turret, and the Sivir is doing quite well in this game. We just take another quick look at this, and I mean, this is a very easy gank to make happen. And just take a look at Nuguri, and his Bloodwell almost was completely full, but not quite, as he got pulled in. Wouldn't matter, Urgot went down anyway. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, see Malrang trying to make something happen.
Ooh.
But again, it's a hard lane to try to gank.
So hard. I mean, immediately Nuclear just able to flash away from that one. Not bothered at all by the Lee Sin, and Hoit gets in there and even threatens a kill onto the Lee Sin after the gank, which just makes you want to go down to the bottom lane even less. As you mentioned the game being blown wide open, they just get the top lane turret without the Rift Herald. They still have that. They might even look to do that in the mid lane, which would be even better. A pretty fantastic CS lead in the top lane based on all the bullying that's happening up to Lindarang, and even in the mid lane too, up 20 CS after Grace went to the top lane and donated his life. Their only saving grace is Root, that has had some pressure in the bottom lane to get a small CS advantage. Yeah.
And the other thing is that in the later stage team fights, they're going to be down summoners to a degree. They have 3 teleports available. And now a Rift Herald being summoned in mid lane. They should be able to raise this mid-tier 1 turret almost certainly, and then convert this pressure into a Mountain Drake capture in 45 seconds.
Look, make it look super easy, as even threatening the life of Nova there. Not going to go for the kill, of course. Just saying, hello, I'm LeBlanc. As they take out another one, and they're even going to get a second charge onto the tier 2. So this is kind of what we expected from this series. Game 1 was, you know, it was an experience, but not the DAMWON that we were expecting.
Definitely not, indeed. And this Aatrox pick, I criticized the inside of the pick ban, but Nuguri has been doing fantastic on it so far this game as the CS deficit continues to widen. I don't know when the last time I saw Flame Horizon was, but maybe we'll end up getting to see it this game.
We saw it earlier this week. I forget exactly which game that was, but it was just a Khan versus Rascal, maybe. Not 100% sure. Yeah, the Fiora versus Silas. We're getting like the secret info in my ear right now. As, okay, Nova, you're in a bit of trouble, but you are Thomas Kench, so actually you're not. Just baiting very, very well, as Nuguri even trying to get frisky in the back line. Is going to be forced to blow his ultimate. TP coming in. And at the end of the day, they're not actually able to get Nuguri down. Even with Lindarang coming back in. Nice rotation by DAMWON to save him there.
And even though Lindarang was there, not going to be able to land his ultimate and then try to cast it on the running away Aatrox. And some poke being dished out, and this should be actually a relatively easy mountain capture as the ping goes down on it from Punch. Teleport now down in bottom lane to get priority. And Black Cleaver, Yumu's Ghostblade completed already now for Nuguri.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's got near the most CS in the game. Actually, that goes to Root on the Sivir, quietly doing that, but has reached 200 at 19 minutes and is even going to get more gold in the bottom side as he takes out that tier 1. So we have a pretty thick Aatrox in this game. For game number 2 here for Nuguri.
And now we enter the lull state again, Brendan. You ready for this? Sit back.
Yeah.
There we go. Take it. Here we go. All right. 4.5 minutes. Here we go.
Is this your favorite state, the lull state? You've been mentioning it a lot. No, there's no Zoe in this game, LS. So.
No, there's no Zoe. You know when the airplane shuts off its lights? And
Yeah,
it's like
that's,
everyone knows that it's time to sleep?
yeah.
That's what it is right now, Brendan.
It's like the signal.
Please be quiet. ASMR casting now only, okay?
All right, I'll leave that to you.
Well, look at that. Look at the way that she struts. Do you think that she did track in high school? What about Tahm?
You remember last year some of the patches we had with Sivir, where
Tell me about it.
she had some struggles with the running.
What about the way that... Oh, is that a Sagat skin for Lee Sin? That kind of looks like Sagat.
I guess so.
Now
But,
people are going to
you know.
criticize me that it's Sagat or something.
I don't.
Do you know
I
which
think
one it is? I think
Sagat.
it's Sagat, right?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's also a Aatrox. All right.
No. Like the amount that you're right on names stops right there. Like, actually, the only name I've heard you pronounce right.
All right. Slow down there,
Wait,
Brian
what's my name again?
Brian Dan.
BR to the end on. That's something I hear all the time, unfortunately.
Well,
5,000 gold ahead. DWG Gaming having a real fun one in this as Trinity Force is even picked up here for the Ezreal. He's trying to be a big boy carry. Nuclear really trying to take back his spot. And I'm sure ShowMaker is happy about that one.
need something to talk about. I feel like I'm... You know what, actually, this just reminds me of is I just saw Happy Death Day 2.
Why would you ever voluntarily watch that movie?
They actually expanded on the universe, I think, relatively okay. But it's about, you know what it is, right?
I wouldn't know.
It's
I didn't see the first one.
Okay, well, it's Groundhog Day for dying. So every day you wake up and the day is just ever so slightly different, but for the most part it's the same day.
Okay.
So if you didn't know what it's like, now you do.
Okay. Thank you for that. As Nuguri, oh boy, rude. Not really in range here to do much. Now he has no health. ShowMaker going for it, but the Devour is there. Nice job by Nova. Is going to be on point with that one. No kills come in because Thomas is still a champion.
Yeah, that's not allowed. And also, the tier 2 turrets have yet to fall. We're not quite there yet.
Okay.
But the second Infernal is coming. Okay.
I mean, that's pretty hype, right?
Yeah, it is.
Second Infernal, ShowMaker having some fun.
Yeah.
With all of those damages.
All right. And he did. You know what? I'll tell you some good news. Urgot's gone next patch. How do you feel about that?
I'm actually ecstatic
Are you
about that.
enthralled?
I'm super happy. As casters, you know. I mean, you know, you're pretty new to this whole
Yeah.
casting thing, aren't you, Alice? But last year was just like, okay. I suppose it did come towards the end. Nice try towards a steal there.
Did he spell shield too?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty sick.
Yeah, he did.
I suppose he had a ward. He saw it coming. It's not as impressive.
I guess so.
You know, I was impressed until I found out that he had, you know, you could see it coming.
Yeah.
You know? It's like watching a magician, but they mess up on camera.
Oh, no.
That's terrible.
That always makes me feel really awkward. I hate when that happens, when, like, people mess up on stage.
You know what I like
Do you feel
doing?
the same way?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I like going on to... I'm the type of person... We're not talking about this. I'm the type of person that likes to go on YouTube and watch magicians perform their act.
Yeah.
And I use the YouTube player to slow it down to a quarter speed.
Oh, yeah?
And I just point out everything. I'm like, well, that's obviously what he did.
But you know there are some magicians
Nancy.
that are so clean that you actually can't see it when you get that
Yeah,
slow.
actually, what's his name? Shim Lim or something?
I don't know.
The guy's insane.
Yeah?
Oh, he's on another planet.
I recently watched this guy who is actually blind. There's this blind man, right? And he...
Okay. Go on.
He's actually really good at card magic tricks.
All right.
He, like, you can cut the deck and he knows exactly how many cards are in the one half.
Can he tell you what card you picked?
If he knows what card it is, then yes. Like, you know, he's blind.
I mean, you can just lie to him. You want a sick joke? Like,
I mean,
he gets the card right, and you're so frustrated because you just can't believe it. You're like, no, that's not my card. Oh man, he retires and everything.
I forget who it was. Someone was showing me about, or telling me about, what's that show by Penn and Teller? They made their own like magic show. It's like where they try to get magicians in that impress you.
Yeah.
I don't,
Penn and Teller.
yeah.
Fool Us or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And they were telling me about some incredible magic stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't go on YouTube too much. I play a lot of games.
All right, what kind of games do you play lately, Brendan?
Playing a lot of, you know, my favorite game, League of Legends.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Actually, I don't play any other games. Oh, what? Hold the phone.
That was really. There is no phone.
I mean, I have my phone on my desk. His build is just like, he's not scared of anything that Jin Air is going to throw at him. He just goes Trinity Force, Manamune, and Archangels. He's like, well, I'm going to do 5 bajillion damage in this game, as he's really trying to get Riot to put down the banhammer.
And nerf Ezreal.
The nerf
Yeah.
bat.
And, well, Ezreal is looking quite well positioned to keep scaling forward. Only on the tier 1 boot still. Nothing really too exciting until that third Mountain Drake comes up. Death Dance now completed for Aatrox. And the game continues.
Yep.
So, what other games you been playing, Brendan?
I told you, I only play one game. It's called League of Legends.
All right.
I wouldn't play any other games that have the name Legend or anything like that.
You were telling me about something before the cast.
No, I wasn't.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure on that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Apex something?
Are you talking about that Overwatch game? We had Apex here in Korea.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right.
Really bringing back the past, huh?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well.
It hurts. All right, well. Oh, God. Getting back to the game.
Yeah, we do have a game here. It is double Infernal and 8,000 gold ahead for DAMWON, who they don't even need Baron at this point, as Jin Air's out of position. They're going to just chunk down the turret and say thank you very much. We will take that and leave.
And ShowMaker now looking like he's actually, I was about to say she because LeBlanc. He's going to raise the top tier 2. Well, misses that chain. Gets
He's
another,
getting in there. Oh, okay, nice job.
Ends up picking it up.
A+.
I feel like every time I watch Jin Air GreenWings play, I just can't help but think of Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Except there's
Why is
no
that?
Gandalf. Gandalf's never coming over the mountain for Jin Air.
Oh.
There's like a cutscene, he's still in bed, he's asleep. Oh man, they've been waiting for 4 years.
Yeah. It's just the destruction.
Oh, jeez.
Well, we do have Sivir sitting with 3 items now on a red buff. And he does have some pretty insane CS per 10, CS per minute numbers. As we do go along here, 346 now at 28.5 minutes. But to be honest, I mean, this just looks like so many other of the other Jin Air games that we've seen where they get behind and it's just like they don't really know how to come back from here as Root. Uh-oh, Nova could be in a lot of trouble. Nice flash from him. Got to hand it to Nova. He's been trying his heart out this entire series to carry his team. But
It's definitely going to be
not much he can do.
Yeah, the mid inhibitor turret now going down. Another mountain. Oh, no!
He's already out of the mountain, don't worry.
Well, that was
he was going for Nova, yeah.
That would have been an insane snipe if he did end up landing that. I think that's actually what he was going for.
Yeah, definitely. You'd have to imagine. Well, how does double Infernal, double Mountain sound?
Sounds pretty good. They even have the icing, the Cloud Drake. The
Yeah,
icing on the cake. It's like a strawberry chocolate mix. Have you ever had that combo?
Yeah.
Have you?
Strawberry chocolate? Yeah, of course.
Strawberry chocolate and a cake?
It's definitely a thing.
Right.
So, what is going on?
What?
Okay. Nice job to get the Ezreal, though, at least by Lindarang. I'm just not sure it matters here, as Grace also going to disappear. It is utter devastation on the Rift right now for Jin Air, as down will go the last member. They get the clean ace. The TP comes in. And it looks like DAMWON has finally put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and this is looking very reminiscent from game number 1, where there's all this build-up, and then it just ends in one big team fight. And DAMWON Gaming, I'm pretty sure they just raised the Nexus turrets. Yeah, no one's coming. Like I was saying, Gandalf's still asleep. So,
let's get the angle here.
Yeah. I like this.
The Observer was getting bored. He's like, oh, I'm gonna pop off right now.
Look at the aesthetics on that. Look at
ooh, I like that.
Look at the back of that Nexus.
Our Observer's going crazy.
That guy is having a lot of fun.
GG, DWG game and take the 2-0. If you were watching game 1 and you just fell asleep or something, you might say, hey, maybe Jin Air take this one, but absolutely not. As DWG Gaming able to collapse and take advantage of all of Jin Air's mistakes that they have made today. As you mentioned, a lot of them are big mistakes. You know, it's not like they're getting smashed in lane or anything like that.
Big mistakes.
Yeah.
That's how I would.
They're mistakes that can be fixed relatively easily. But they are big mistakes that cost you games and lose you games against better teams. So
it's getting there, though, that is the hard part, and at least they're able to get there sometimes. And so tonight, unfortunately for them, they're going to suffer yet another defeat. They got to keep the upside down going, I guess, as Griffin has to play next now to try to keep that chain alive. But at least for Jin Air, they look at game number 1, they can say they almost had it. They really did.
Yeah. I mean, it feels similar in terms of being aheadness of the Hama Life versus Griffin series. Of course, the mistake was not, you know, on the same plane or level as any mistakes that Hama Life made. But it's definitely one of those games where you can say, hey, guys, this is better than the last time we got pummeled, right?
Right.
We can go back to the drawing board and say, there is progress. DAMWON's a great team, right? We actually almost had them that time. Keep your head up. The one sad fact, though, is that I feel like once you go 0-8, it just feels like you're so far away from not getting into relegations. You know what I mean? So what that means for you, us, is that there's a chance that you and your team could snipe Jin Air. What do you think about that?
Well, currently BBQ is bottom of the standings in CK, and much like Jin Air, we had very unfortunate losses that were very similar in fashion recently. So, but in the same way, not really that worried about that, you know?
You guys will make it back.
Yeah.
As you can see that Lindarang himself is extremely unhappy right now. I mean, how can you be happy after that loss? We talk about how, from a coaching standpoint, from an outsider's perspective, yes, there is a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel in terms of, yes, they're getting better, but it honestly just feels in the same way that Griffin is so much better than everybody else. Jin Air is also on that level of like, well, they're not really close to anyone else at this point. So it's hard. You know, they can improve, but everybody else is also improving, which just is a bad sign. If the LCK as a whole was just going down like this, then maybe Jin Air comes back and has a chance to avoid relegations. But as it's going now, even, you know, KT, Afrika, Gen G, those guys even look on a bigger tier than Jin Air right now.
Yeah, they really do have, they're going to have their work cut out for them. The other thing that might be problematic for them is that we're probably about to experience another big potential meta shift in coming patches, and if that ends up destabilizing them as well, then they just have more problems that are going to be cut out for them.
Yeah. Hoit here, perfectly calculated on his mana, by the way. Knew he had exactly the right amount to go for that play. And a couple of dives in the top lane. I mean, you were talking about how Aatrox, after the changes, he feels very gutted, but one thing he still can do very well is dive. Especially when you get someone like Olaf and LeBlanc on your team. You can just get in there and tank for days, and it was obvious that DAMWON wanted to go for this type of play. It seemed like they were expecting the Urgot as a counter pick. Didn't seem to care at all. afterwards, as it was just the, this was the one moment where it was close, but the Bloodwell not quite there, as the rest of them did come in. This was the crazy moment. Nice kick by Malrang. He's really trying. Yeah, he's really trying.
They actually got Ezreal in this fight, but it just didn't matter because DAMWON Gaming were just so far ahead. And then just one by one, they all just began falling. So it's really, really unfortunate. I know that sometimes the camera panned over Lindarang in this fight, or in throughout the game, and he looked very sad because really, that was the lane that should have been able to take care of itself, and it just wasn't able to. And Nuguri was able to, he put on a clinic with with the Aatrox.
Yeah.
So, Jin Air, unfortunate.
Definitely, that's one way to say it, LS, as not too many happy faces on their side. Malrang this time around, not quite the carry that he had in game number 1. I feel like that guy actually does have the potential, and I wouldn't say he's in ELO hell or anything like that because he has his own problems as the game comes along, but he is one of the shining lights on the side of Jin Air that shows up every single day and gets first bloods over and over. Gets great ganks, especially on the blue side, I feel, and
do you feel like
they're able to do that, but not able to win these games?
Do you feel like Jin Air is in ELO hell?
I mean, well, isn't it like the opposite of ELO hell?
I have the perfect answer for that.
What is it?
Annie. Duh. What?
Why don't you know, go ahead and talk to them after the game.
Yeah. Need to have a word with them backstage.
Yeah.
And again, taking a
find
look at the highlights. Punch. I mean, I really do feel like you want to talk about a clinic. He put it on in the jungle with the pathing. Malrang was consistently behind. And even if you make the argument that Malrang was doing it to himself, I mean, so what? Punch was in the right places at the right time, able to follow up. His pathing was able to let him maximize a lot of his value, not just in game number 2, but game number 1 as well.
Yeah.
Definitely think it's a deserving MVP. Some people, I think, would give it to Nuguri because he looked like, wow, this powerhouse and whatnot, but a lot of that is also accompanied by Punch.
Yeah, would absolutely have to agree. That guy is one of these shining lights here from his side. I'm going to hand it over to Ji-sun. She's going to translate our interview.
Thank you very much, guys. This will be Face Last translation, and we're going to be joined by ShowMaker and Punch from DAMWON Gaming, picking up a 2-0 victory today. After the last interview, I said I want to make sure this going as a win streak, so I'm really happy that I pulled that off today. Especially, I think we pulled a better performance in game 2 and made a really clean game. Punch, you were a starting jungler today. Did you feel any pressure? Well, I did feel a little bit of pressure, but during the games, I was able to get relaxed. DAMWON Gaming, you guys are on the 5th place, joining the western area. How do you feel, Punch? I think we can go further, so I want to satisfy with this result, and we're going to keep trying. ShowMaker, you both played LeBlanc on mid lane. Those other players trust on your LeBlanc a lot? Well, those are one of the picks that I prefer, and it also fits the meta really well. And our team trusts me. Yeah, they do trust me a lot. What's the biggest strength of LeBlanc in the laning phase? It's really strong in the 1v1, but also, if you land your E, it's really easy to make your gank happen and make a kill over there. But actually game 1, Jin Air was performing quite well. The game went back and forth. Jin Air won a couple of team fights. What was the biggest problem? Overall, I think we all just performing poorly during the team fights. If we did as we do normally do, we could have won all the team fights, but we could not, so game was going too even. But you were able to kind of turn the game around on LeBlanc today. What was the plan in your mind? Well, everyone seemed quite tired, so I tried to keep focus and kind of provoke the enemies by just going inside the enemy's performance and going into the W a lot.
시야가 없다는 거 알고 있어서.
Especially I have the lens with me, so I was able to know that they have no vision around me. So, but I could have made more kills. So
자, 이 세트는
a
펀치
bit
선수
not satisfied.
말대로 굉장히 다른 모습 보여주셨습니다.
But game 2,
오늘
as you guys
올라프만 두 번
said,
들고
you guys were
나오셨어요.
performing
저번에
well.
리즌으로
Especially
승리를 가져가셨었는데요.
you performed Olaf
오늘
in
올라프는
both
어떤
games.
계기로 픽하시게 된 거예요?
What was the reason for that?
제 생각일 수도 있는데 상대가 좀 리신을 견제하지 않을까라는 생각에
Well, I actually expected them to ban out or take away Lee Sin from me. So
챔피언이 많았는데 오늘
Olaf
좀
was
이거를
one of
하면
those
잘될
picks
것 같다
in case of
해가지고
that.
2번 연속 고르게 된 것 같아요.
and I had some good feelings on Olaf today.
네, 오늘 약간 승리의 챔피언 같은 느낌.
It was
네,
the
오늘
lucky charm of
굉장히
today.
갱킹 많이 다니시고 모든 라인에 다 개입하는
You had a lot of
모습이셨어요.
ganks and
이 세트는
you
내가
were
좀
going to
키워야겠다,
all
이렇게
different
생각을
lanes
하셨나요?
as a jungler. So
그냥
were you feeling the
물 흐르는
responsibility
대로
to kind
했는데
of
라이너들이 좀 라인들을 잘
make a
해줘가지고
snowball on
저도 아마
yourself?
탄력을 받은 게 아닌가 싶어요.
I think our laners
네,
were
펀치
doing
선수
so well during the
굉장히
laning phase
공격적인
that I was able
저글러
to kind of
스타일이신 것
pull off all the
같은데
ganks and stuff.
스스로는 본인의 플레이 스타일을 어떻게 생각하세요?
How do you define your playstyle?
원래는
Is it
약간
aggressive?
받아치는 스타일이 편했는데
I actually preferred some counter ganks and counter plays.
합류하시고 좀 이제 공격적인 운영을
But our
좀
coach
추구하셔가지고
Told me to be a little bit more aggressive, so I am changing right now.
세 번 나와서 세 세트 다 우승으로 가져갔습니다.
The
승리의
Punch, you have
여정이라고
3
이제
games
생각해도 될것
winning streak,
같은데요.
so you can be
다음
the lucky
경기에도
charm of your
기대해봐도
team.
될까요?
아, 네.
Are you gonna be the starting member next
그럼
game?
좋을 것 같아요.
네,
Hope
펀치
so.
선수가 팀을 또 승리로 이끄시길 바라보겠습니다. 자, 그리고 이거는 이제 선수들한테 공통적인 질문인데요.
This is
요즘
a question
시빌이나
for both of
빅토르가
you guys.
등장을 하면서 경기 시간이 좀
Sivir
길어진다 이런
and
얘기들이
Victor is
있어요.
showing up
좀
against
체감을
extending the game a little bit.
네, 요즘
Do you agree with
좀
that?
약간 길어진 것 같아요. 원래
Yeah,
스크린 같은
I
거
think
하면
so.
또
During the
빨리
scrims,
끝나고 그랬는데
it ends
요즘
earlier.
길어진 것 같아요.
But here, I
이렇게
think
경기
the
시간이
game are
조금
a little bit more
짧게 흘러갈 때랑
extended.
길게 가져갈 때랑 전략적으로 다른 점이 있나요?
Do you kind of
다른
try some
점은
different
이제
strategy when the
좀
game
짧게 가져가면
game
초반에
kind of
선택들을
goes
많이 해야
longer?
되고 이렇게 길게 되면
For the
시기를
short games, we have to go with some different
후반에
drafts,
좋은
but
챔피언들이 더 좋은
for
것
the
같아요.
meta with the
네,
long games, we
알겠습니다.
need some
아까
Sivir or
쇼메이커
Victor,
선수가
the
1세트
champions that are
끝나고
stronger
아리스
in the late
선수를
game.
향해서 뭔가 격하게 말씀을 하시던데
네.
네, 그때 무슨
And I saw you
말씀하셨어요?
talking to Aris after
그냥
first
왜
game.
이렇게 못하냐고. 네.
What you're talking about?
원래 친해가지고 그냥
Well,
장난식으로
I said, why are you
했어요.
so bad?
뼈 아픈 한마디를
Because we're close friends. I mean, like, it was
긴장을
just.
많이 했더라고요.
I mean, I saw him being
막
too
휴지 같은
nervous.
것도 막 뽑아서 쓰고.
There were too many, like tissues
땀난다고.
all around his desk because he was
네, 알겠습니다.
sweating so
아리스
too much.
선수가
So I just wanted to feel,
오늘도 아셨지만
wanted to make him feel comfortable.
보여줄 수 있을 거라고 생각을 합니다. 자, 펀치 선수 이제 다음
Punch.
경기가 하나생명과의 대결입니다.
Next
4위
game will be up
팀과의
against
대결인데
Hana Life
더 높이
Esports.
올라갈 수
It's a
있는
battle for the
기회가 될 수
fourth
있을
place.
것 같아요.
네네.
각오 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
Any last message?
하나가 상당히 지금 잘하는 팀인데 꼭
Hana
이겨서
seems
기세를
really
타가지고
strong, but I wanna
더
take them
높은
down
곳으로
and
올라갈 수 있게
keep this Ryze going.
많이 그렇게 열심히 할 테니까요.
They're gonna
응원
keep
많이
us his
해주세요.
hard work, so I want you
감사합니다.
guys to keep supporting us. Thank you.
자, 쇼메이커 선수도 지난번에 다음 경기
ShowMaker.
이기겠습니다 했는데 오늘도 그 말 들을 수 있을까요?
We're gonna win the next
네.
game as well.
1라운드 마지막 남은 경기 꼭 이겨서 3연승.
That will be the last match for the first round, so we're gonna make it to the 3 games winning streak.
팬분께서 네 이렇게 대답을 해주셨어요. 네, 오늘 쇼메이커 선수, 펀치 선수 인터뷰 감사드립니다.
Punch and ShowMaker, thank you very much for this interview. I'm
네,
gonna
인터뷰
pass it
여기서
back to our
마칠게요.
casters. Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you, Jisun, as always, for the wonderful translation. Good to hear from ShowMaker and Punch. Punch looking comfortable and confident that he can be starting the next time they come around, and ShowMaker with this new mid lane aggressive and carry style meta in the mid lane. ShowMaker looking good as well. Future looking bright for DAMWON Gaming, and it should, as they have a big match the next time around up against Hanwha Life Esports.
Yeah, and DAMWON, they're on the west hand side, so Mrs. Cloud Templar able to help out from the Sky Castle segment. Definitely coming in clutch right there.
Mrs. Templar, yeah.
Mrs. Templar, Mrs. C. And so tomorrow, Griffin will take on FLICKR, followed by Sandbox versus KT. And those are going to be pretty exciting games, actually. I'm curious what FLICKR will try against Griffin, and if Griffin, I want to see how they approach the matchup as well. So
yeah, I think it should be a pretty fun one, to say the least. Griffin, always fun to watch, and see what new domination they bring in, and if FLICKR can actually get their roster and team on a bit of a roll here. And Sandbox securely in that second place spot right now up against KT that's struggling. Also curious to see what kind of roster KT is going to bring in, because Smeb having a rough time, top side of the map having a rough time, Umti as well. Will he play? All questions to be answered tomorrow, Ellis.
Yeah, and again, I'm just really looking forward to it. And what type of shenanigans might Griffin bring out? We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. You and Atlas will bring that cast tomorrow. But for us tonight, guys, thank you once again for watching. We'll see you next time.